Okay. So, good evening, everyone. So, the agenda for today's class is actually configuration of substitutions. In the earlier class, we have seen the configuration of validations and what is the purpose of validations. And we created a message class and we maintained message numbers and we wrote validation, like we configured validation and with the validation description. Then we added steps, then we added like prerequisites, and then checks also we performed. Then the message numbers we assigned in the validations. Okay, the purpose of validations are actually while creating any project structure, we will validate whether the project structure is according to the nomenclature of the project, or there are some other things that we need to validate while creating a project, so that the user will be not able to do any mistakes while creating a project structure. Okay, so all these topics are related to project structuring. Okay, so once the project structuring is completed, then we will be going for costing part and budgeting part. So initially while creating a project, the first and foremost thing any project planner will do is he will create a project structure. So while creating a project structure, what are the prerequisites? Like we need to have, as a consultant, we need to build some validations and then substitutions also. The difference between the validations and substitutions are that validations will make the user to enter the correct data. If he is trying to enter some no wrong data or wrong inputs, then the system will throw error if we write validations. That is the purpose. Whereas substitutions will uh, will automatically substitute the values, or it will replace the values as per the requirement of the client or the project profile or the project for which they are creating. So whatever project they are creating, instead of manually adding those values can be substituted based on the requirement. And this is one of the key advantages of using the substitutions. Okay, now what are the different, what is now as per the agenda we will move ahead. Okay, you understood now what is the difference between validation and substitution?
Yes,
See, for example,
sir.
while you are entering username and password, so Google, what it will do, it will ask you for saving the user ID and password. That means what? So whenever we are trying to log in the next time, if we enter the username, Google will prompt, okay, automatically both username and password. Okay, it will save both username and password. Similarly, here in the case of substitutions, we will write in the configurations based on some prerequisite to substitute some value. So while creating a project and while saving the project, automatically that value will be populated in the respective field. That is the purpose of the substitution, whether it can be a blank or it can be a value or whatever it may be based on the requirement. We will see those examples. Okay, so that is the purpose of substitutions. So the agenda for substitutions actually, we will be discussing about definition of the substitutions in the project structure, examples, and navigation path for substitutions. Now, what is the path for creating the substitutions through SPRO? Because in the earlier class I mentioned I will show the SPRO path, but I forgot it. No one questioned that. So that is the reason I have gone through that video and I don't want to miss anything that I added here directly. Okay, and what are the steps that we need to follow while creating the substitutions similar to validations. And then finally, once the substitutions are configured, we need to perform unit testing as discussed in the earlier class. Okay, these are the 5 steps agenda for today's class. We will move with the definition of substitution. Okay, in SAP, substitution is a functionality that automatically replaces or derives values in documents or transactions based on predefined conditions, often during data entry. So the same thing I explained generally in a layman language, right? Am I correct? So
Yep.
it is just used to replace the values or used to fill the values automatically. Just like a Google form, this substitution will fill the value based on the prerequisite that is met. Okay, This allows for automatic data manipulation and completion, reducing manual effort and ensuring data consistency. Okay, let us say, for example, I want to maintain, let us say, in 90 WBS elements, the profit center. Okay, for the profile INDH that we created, which is manually either I have to do mass change or I have to, if I don't know that option, I have to enter manually one by one if the profit center is blank. Whereas if I write the substitution, then the system while saving, it will fill the profit center field automatically based on the substitution prerequisite. Once the prerequisite is met, it will fill automatically the profit center value. That is one example. Let us say I want to enable at the level 1 WBS billing element. Okay, let us assume while creating the user level 1 WBS element, billing element he is not enabled. Now, what is the issue if we don't enable the billing element? He won't be able to perform the billing with respect to the WBS element, because in the sales cycle, we will be assigning the root WBS for the sales order level. So once the billing element is not available, then the billing document will be not created. So that is the reason we need to enable the billing element for the WBS element. Okay. So we have to do by using the substitution at the level 1 WBS element, automatic billing element must be enabled. That is, those are the two examples. One is profit center, another one is billing element checkbox enabling. Okay. So in SAP, you can create and maintain substitutions. You can use substitutions to replace values and value combinations in the project system. Any queries up to here?
Yeah, I have a question. This
Yeah.
is, I mean, I know that for the validation, it has to be based on the structure, right? We cannot
Yeah.
have we cannot have one validation set for all the project structures. It has to be based on the client's requirements, as you said in the previous classes. But
Yeah.
with regard to the substitution, is it something in generic you can set it in SAP, or it again depends on structure to structure?
Yeah, again, it depends on the structure to structure. We may require, we may not require. When we will come to know this, for example, assume that during the implementation phase, you have not implemented any substitutions, right? Then while creating the project user, end user, what he will do, for example, for our project profile, our project profit center is something like, for example, one all zeros one. Assume that. Okay. Then if the profit center is not available at the WBS element level, in the POs, in the service entry sheets, or while doing the GRN, it will not allow while posting the accounting document. If the profit center is a wrong one, then the accounting document will hit a different profit center. Or if he is not maintaining, if it is blank, system will throw an error, right?
Yeah,
So if with the wrong profit center, if the accounting document is posted, then it is very difficult for us. Either we need to cancel that document and we need to again maintain that profit center value. Once the actuals posted, system will not allow you to change the profit center at the WBS element level. This is one of the disadvantages. So you need to cancel the succeeding document that is posted and where the FI entries are generated. So for such cases, what is the best option? Even though whether the user is entering or not entering, we need to check some prerequisites. And if the prerequisites are met, we need to give that key fields like profit center, for example, account assignment element, billing element, like in the operative indicators. These are some of the fields, for example, I am quoting. You
yeah,
need to enable them by using the substitution method, so that user dependency we are reducing, or manually entering those key values we are reducing. Okay, we are helping to the end user by doing some automation, right?
got it. Yeah,
Yeah, those are the real time examples that I encountered, especially with the profit center and billing element, and which plays a key role actually. Okay.
yeah,
Now, these are some of the examples that I mentioned here. These are all the real-time examples, but only the values differ. But whatever the substitutions that I wrote here, these are 100% real-time examples. Okay. So now, what is the first one? To substitute profit center. PC means here shortcut profit center based on the project profile. What is the prerequisite? If you see in the validations, prerequisite, check, and action, and message number, right? In the action, message number we are giving, right? So now here we have a prerequisite and substitution. Okay, there is no check condition here, right? So here what we are doing, if the prerequisite is met, directly substitution, right? Now here to substitute a profit center based on the project profile, prerequisite is my project profile, and I need to substitute this value. Okay. So what is the action? System replaces the profit center at project definition level. That means this substitution is valid at the project definition level because my table that I am referring is PROG or PROFL, that is profile, and I am replacing the profit center at the project definition level. Like the for the validations also we did the similar thing. So you need to remember all the project definitions whatever created by the user are stored in the PROG table. All the WBS elements with respect to that project are stored in the PRPS table. Now what is the relationship between these two? How to enable the data or how to fetch the data based on the project definition, the WBS elements, so that the entire structure can be seen. Those things will be discussed in the later classes. What is the field that integrates PROG and PRPS table, that we will see. Okay. The next step is to enable first level WBS billing element. That means in order to do the billing, in order to assign the WBS element in the sales order, and further for performing the billing, whenever we need to raise an invoice to the client, at level 1, the billing element must be enabled, right? If this is not enabled, you will be not able to perform the billing. That is the reason we need to enable billing element at the level 1 WBS element, assuming we are using only level 1 WBS element for the billing purposes. Now, how to ensure that we need to check the PRPS of STUF is the field for the level. If the level is 1, I need to enable this substitution by checkbox. That is, I need to enable the checkbox. For that, I need to pass X. X means check enabled, right? To substitute profit center on WBS if it is blank. This is very critical one. In most of the cases, what will happen is in the WBS element level, many WBS elements they will create. Okay. Sometimes the profit center will be derived from the project profile automatically. Sometimes it may not. So we need to make sure that if there is any blank profit center, or user may intentionally remove the profit center, right? So that we need to check if there is any blank profit center at the WBS element level. If there is a blank, we need to replace that with the profit center that is available at the project definition level, right? This is the very key one. Now, there are some other examples that I gave similarly. So we will be discussing about one or two examples. Remaining things, I will provide the video. You just need to go through and you need to write those substitutions on your own, right?
Okay, sir.
So we will be discussing practically first three substitutions. Okay. Now this is the navigation path. So this is the navigation path. SPRO, you need to type SPRO in the command field. Okay. SAP easy access screen. You need to enter in the command field SPRO, press enter. Then it will open a screen. There you need to press SAP reference IMG. Then a node will open. Okay. The highest node is SAP customizing implementation guide. Then you need to navigate through these project systems structures. Okay, this is the node under project system. Then the operative structures. Then under the work breakdown structure, we have something called maintain substitutions. And the shortcut for this to go is OPSN is the transaction code to enter directly into the maintain substitutions. Right? I think this will help you. That is the reason I added today one more screen.
Yes, sir. Actually, this is very clear this way.
Yeah. In the last class also, I mentioned that point. I will go through that SPRO path, but somehow I skipped it. That is the reason I have gone through that video and I added here. Okay.
Okay, sir. Nice.
So what are the steps? The steps that we followed for creating the validations are, let me recall that. We actually selected the project definition. Then we clicked on the validation. Then we entered the validation name and its description. Then we added the step and we gave that step description. Then the prerequisite, check and message. These are the steps that we followed for the validations. Am I clear?
Yep.
Right. Similarly, while creating the substitutions, we need to follow the similar thing. We need to select the project definition or WBS element for which we are writing the substitution, right? Then once upon selecting, it will open a subscreen. In that, you need to enter the name of the substitution and its description. System automatically will give the application area. It is project system in our case. If you have gone through the earlier video, or else you please go through that video. Okay, and a call up point will be automatically given by the system. That is, if it is a project definition, one call up point number will be there. If it is a WBS element, another call up point with a different number will be there. And then we need to insert a step. Once we insert a step, we need to give the prerequisite, then the substitution value for which we are giving the substitution. So these are the steps that we need to follow while creating the substitutions, right? This is very clear. And I will show you how to prepare the configuration document. And while practicing, if you follow that, yes, you need to prepare anyhow the configuration document after doing the configurations. The client will ask you submit the configuration document. Okay, maybe after go live or before the go live, it depends from client to client. So how to prepare that we are doing the configurations, but how to prepare that configuration document, right? We are doing the configurations, we are performing the unit testing. Okay, so after doing this configuration, they will ask you the final configuration document. How to prepare that also we will see. Okay. Now that's it. This part I completed. Now in the next session, we are going to see the live example. Let me